Okay, yeah, we are back here. Okay, so let's continue. As you're saying, basically, let you wrap up that point about the photography of those subjects and the other exhibition you mentioned.
Yeah, the thing was, taking the photos, we had different subject matter. My subject matter was based on the poverty that goes on Metro and downtown LA. I refuse to go, me personally, I refuse to go to the hood because what's the point? You got to give it to what it is, like City Hall in that situation. And I think what made me take the photos was one day walking through City Hall, and I saw how people really was making their homes out of City Hall. And that's when it really started from that point.
Wow. Well, again, congratulations on your vision, your eye, your sense of social justice. And, you know, the city of Los Angeles is in the news for a lot of things. Let's segue very briefly but sadly to the loss of Kobe. And let me allow you to say what you want to share about that loss in the city.
It's hard to talk about it because Kobe Bryant was a close family friend of my own relatives who are all former NBA players. And I've only talked to them a few times since that. And it's still shocking because in this last 20 years, you can't imagine Kobe not being here. It's the same thing as Nipsey Hussle. You can't imagine these guys not here when they've always been here. So it's a real hard thing to talk about, you know, but it's real hard to talk about. Really.
Well, let's do it this way. Let's look at the triumph. Let's look at the positive aspect of what Kobe meant to the LA community, as opposed to just being a ball player. What is your connection with that, as of someone yourself who connects with the people in Los Angeles? Kobe's impact before and now after.
Before Kobe got here, the community, it was iffy. But when he got here, being a young 17-year-old, young black male coming out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, there was a lot on his shoulders. And the one thing people always want to do is they want to disrespect his legacy. But here's the one thing black people and all people need to understand. His legacy, despite all the little negatives that people try to throw at him, was he was doing stuff for the community. The one thing black people always forget about is it's about us. Well, you got to understand one thing. If you were drafted into any major city, whether it's Washington, whether it's New York, you got to deal with the community. And it doesn't matter what community it is. You have to deal with the community of the NBA. And that's what he did. He had his own, youth center. He was also dealing with, I remember one year when they had the big marathon with all the homeless, he was out there. You know what I'm saying? He did more for this LA community than some of these sorry-ass NBA players who can't sit out there and talk about their community because they're too busy trying to be relevant. But Kobe just did what he had to do. When he retired, he started coaching kids. And for people to disrespect that goes to show you that nobody cares what we do. You know what I'm saying? We'd rather be some lazy individuals who don't, we can talk a good game. But when somebody like that went ahead and came into a situation, got hit with a messed up situation, and then almost 2 decades later became an icon. So the question is, that I want to say to everybody is, does it matter if we mess up out there and we bounce back from it, or we just mess up and y'all gonna keep running this for a million years? So I feel like if you're gonna do that to him, do it to the Weinsteins, do it to everybody out there who want to put that on their head. You know, that's how I feel.
And I appreciate you keeping it at that level because it's a sad moment we lost. Even folks who did not care for the sport recognize this gentleman was a special force to be reckoned with. Let's segue into the aspect of the city of Los Angeles. The memorial occurred and the vibration that was here of unity. Because isn't it ironic, less than a year apart, we had Nipsey Hussle's memorial. What from your eye as a photographer and so on, a storyteller, what can you share with us your insight of the energy of this city losing two of their very popular sons in less than a year apart.
Let me tell you the funny thing is like when I was growing up, and I remember when Len Bias died.
Yes.
That hurt my hometown, Washington D.C. That
Yes.
really hurt, and I, didn't really feel that until that moment. Like a year ago when Nipsey got killed, 30 minutes after it happened, everybody out here knew what happened. And I feel like if you're not from here, you have no right to talk about what goes on here because we're not the type of city that sits here and be like, I don't know what's going on, I don't know what's up. We're not that type of city. Everybody knew who did it within 30 minutes. And that energy in that neighborhood is where he was. I mentored several of his family members, and it hurt them just as well as it hurt me. Because number one, we are working together out here. We're not the type of city to sit up here and sit on our ass because, here's what people need to understand. California is a money territory. It's a money-making territory at all times. And if you're not in the money-making spirit, you don't know a damn thing that goes on here. So when his spirit left, we were just now trying to move on. And then Kobe died. And it's like, dude, these guys were just at a Trayvon Martin fundraiser not even 2 years ago together. And then we lose them back to back. That is a real crippling situation. One thing I want to ask everybody, would your city go silent for almost 2 weeks after one of your own natives died like that? I remember that morning I went to the museum, because it was the last day of our museum, and I wasn't even there 20 minutes.
So the morning that Kobe died,
Yes.
right? Yes, okay.
It happened at 10:30.
Was that the same day as the Grammys?
It was the weekend of the Grammys.
Yes.
The weekend of the Grammys.
Right.
And, everybody, LA was popping. You could hear noise. As soon as they said he was killed and it was confirmed, within 30 minutes, this city went completely silent.
Yes.
One of the most scariest things you can see in a city like Los Angeles, where people just they didn't want to believe it first off.
Right.
But just to know that he was dead, and then to find out his daughter's in the plane.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
a double dose of, it really took a lot
So
out of the
tragic.
city. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I feel like personally, from a standpoint, I've been living in Los Angeles 10 years of my life. And I feel like this. People need to understand one thing. If you're not from here, you don't know how we feel. That's like me. I don't know what goes on in D.C. until somebody calls me or sends me intelligence to let me know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I can understand that. But if you're not here, one thing I used to hear him say, when celebrities die, the heart of Hollywood stops. It's like hearing the heartbeat of Hollywood just slows down. Because it's another life that built this city.
Yes.
Now it's gone. And people got to understand that Kobe Bryant wasn't out there. Let me make this statement for what it is, because I think people need to understand. Nobody in our entertainment industry or sports entertainment industry has to rate any fucking body, because there's a motive to everything that's out here. I don't give a damn if you're male, female, straight, gay, or whatever. There is a motive to everything when you come to LA. And when you're out here and you see, when we lost Prince, Michael Jackson, even when Nipsey died, people was like, dude, this feel like '96 when Pop died.
Yeah.
So I tell people, when you hear that type of stuff, now I know how this territory felt with just Nipsey and Kobe. Now I can understand when Easy died or Tupac died.
Yeah.
It really takes a lot out of this territory.
Yes. Yes. And let me say this, sir. Our conversations off camera have addressed your background, your sense of social connectedness, community, and you're from another part of the country originally. You can tell them where you're from, but what I gather, Washington, D.C. has a big bearing in a certain feeling and a certain impact that has brought to L.A. many personalities that came from D.C. I would like you to go in that a bit in terms of giving a connecting the dots as to who's been out here from DC and become part of LA.
Well, let's let's put it like this: Los Angeles has been the breeding ground for a lot of Washington D.C. entertainers, and a lot of the entertainers, when they leave that city and they hit this area of the country, they see a revive that they don't see in the D.C. area. And people in the D.C. area act like this is gonna, becoming a mecca is a whole lot of situations, and there's a lot of unity has to be involved. But when you look at the list of people that come out that city, you can understand why. I mean,
Give us a few examples, few names that come to your mind.
I'll give you an example. Pierre, Martin Lawrence.
Marvin Gaye?
Marvin Gaye, let me tell you something. Marvin Gaye and I come from the same high school. You know what I'm saying? So that was like
what school was that?
Cardozo High School. In Northwest DC.
Recognizing Cardozo High School.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, so, even with that, and then, my cousin, who's also a well-known situation, Anwan Glover, he was in The Wire. So when you got those type of people coming from the school you come from and the neighborhood, and let's not think, we got Samuel Jackson, he's from the nation's capital. President Al Gore, who's done movies in the industry, he's from there. Catherine Hale, who's in Grey Anatomy. There's so many people that come from the Washington, D.C. area. You have no choice but not to have influences from those type of individuals. It's like not too long ago, I just met a female and a couple people from there, and we all clicked. It's a D.C. thing. And when people don't understand that, it's just like she told me, it's a D.C. thing. We click because really we're our own tribe.
Yes.
And we're our own tribe, and nobody will never understand that until you get to this point and realize that.
Give us a couple more names that come to your mind that are DC transplants over the years that have become world renowned after they came to Los Angeles.
Like, Taraji Henson. I'm gonna tell you, Regina Hall, her mama was my attendance lady in Cardozo. You know what I'm saying? So I knew about Regina Hall. You know what I'm saying? So she's out there, she's doing her thing. Much respect to both of them because they make our city proud. And Jesus, there's so many people.
So many. That's another discussion at a time.
Hold on, let's think about this. Tommy Davis. There's so many people. It might just come off the top of my head.
Okay, it's all good. So let's segue here. Today we are Sunday and March the 15th, and now we have a cloud called coronavirus over us. And I know you have some observations. And tell the people, one, you just shared with me that Wuhan is going back to work in China, the epicenter. What do you see there, here, and as we have a new vibe over LA? Who would have thought, after the memorial for Kobe, that less than, a few weeks, we'll be talking about closing establishments and shutting down the city. What's your take on that as a person that records communities and societies with your camera and your mind, visual? What's your take and what do you want to say about this? The coronavirus.
The coronavirus to me is a big fat joke because when the swine flu came out, that was nuts. You know what I'm saying? And 61 million Americans got affected. But look how many people died from it. And they didn't shut down nothing for the swine flu. This is the first time they ever shut down for a virus that has really no impact. In my personal opinion, I've seen swine flu, I've seen SARS, I've seen the outbreak of the new chicken pox. I've seen so many viruses in 40 years of my life. This is the first time I've seen them shut down when this situation is not as big as what it is. And the one thing people need to understand, you may not have to believe me. I don't give a damn. I get intelligence. You know what I'm saying? If you knew my background or my family or where I come from, I get federal intelligence from people. And I see people that they're going crazy. You know one thing that's funny? People are buying more toilet paper, sanitizer.
Oh my God.
Than they buying. People are buying more of. It doesn't matter about the canned food. That's one thing. But people are buying more sanitizers, face masks,
PP.
toilet paper. And get this, you're not buying no body wash, you're not buying no soap, you ain't even buying a wash rag. But you want to think you're going to be safe with this type of situation. So for what I see out here, come on, like for instance, the homeless situation.
Yes.
There's one thing people need to understand. You are not going to disrespect these homeless cats here in LA because I see what goes on. There are so many groups, there are so many organizations that comes to these homeless communities. It don't matter if we're downtown, it doesn't matter if we're in the valley. They come to everybody. They come with food, they come with sanitizer, they come with, the bags of toiletries. This is constant. So for anybody to sit up here, I feel like this, to the rest of the nation, stop talking on LA. LA takes care of their homeless, but the homeless gotta take care of their situation too. That's number one. I had a woman yesterday tell me, well, they can't get this, they can't get that. Where the fuck are you at? Because here in LA, I'm with a lot of them. There's so many feedings. There's so many, like every feeding we go to, we pray. You know what I'm saying? They put God involved. So there's a lot of churches and institutions that comes together for the homeless people here in LA. You know what I told somebody that was funny? CSUN is experiencing 50,000 students homeless right now. Now, people need to understand that's 50,000 students in CSUN that's going to
Constant Northridge, okay.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? I just posted that. It's on my Instagram. I just posted that event. There's a lot of students going through. Now, if that's 50,000, imagine the rest of the people who are not part of it.
So let's talk about the aspect of the coronavirus where small businesses and stores where students, for example, get their jobs or income closing. What is the projections? I mean, we can only speculate, but the impact on these people that are vulnerable economically with this virus added on it. Isn't this not a crazy scenario, sir?
I think it's okay. It's like this. Okay, we were just talking about Wuhan. Wuhan is supposed to be the sub-city in the world that started this virus. As of March 11th, they just put out a statement. Wuhan went back to normal life. We're at the 15th. 4 days ago, that town, which I was told by somebody that I worked with who used to live there, that town is bigger than New York City in population. They're going back to normal life. You know what I'm saying? And then when they knew that situation was going like that, boom, they was on it real quick. They didn't do what we're doing. We're sitting here day to day. It's like this. When they knew early this week that it was going down, if it's all that bad, they should shut us down right then. Why are we playing games going week to week when this is the place they say started the virus, but they're going back to regular normal life?
Yes,
so
sir.
It's like they said, the possibility of the U.S. What's the deal? The U.S. is playing games. Now, if that's the place where it's going down, then what's going on here? And then here, let me tell you the funny thing. I look at a lot of this crap. Where's the health department? I ain't heard the health department do no emergency situation. If you have an epidemic here, I'm just gonna be honest with you. An epidemic, I'm used to reading when an epidemic. I want to see bodies laying everywhere. I want to see them with a trash truck picking up a dead bodies. That's when you know it's an epidemic. But when you got people out here wearing masks and all this, that mask don't work. You know what I'm saying? You're just doing what the Chinese are doing. But guess what? When you looked at when they were spraying them with the hoses in China, what was they wearing? Masks.
Yes.
So they were still getting infected. So it just goes to show Americans are the most gullible, stupidest individuals to sit up here and listen to our government when, number one, America cannot survive on shutdown 2 weeks. When, guess what, a year ago, didn't our government shut down for 2 weeks?
Yes.
And what happened? When they shut down for 2 weeks, people was losing their home, almost lose their home, they were losing almost their cars. Why are you doing this to students? There are students that see something, let me tell you something, a lot of them students, they'll come and say, I guess I'm gonna eat off beans. I guess I have a cousin who who's used to doing work, he just lost several jobs
Wow.
because of the shutdown.
Yes.
So our government need to understand, they're not just affecting the American public. The students are going to suffer.
Yes.
So if the students lose their jobs, what is our government do? Is our government going to give emergency funds to keep everybody around until they get themselves back in order, or they going to play games with us?
You know that in Italy, the Italian government put a suspension on mortgages.
Right.
And some other countries are talking about intervention economically for those people affected by the closure of business. We'll see what happens here, but let's come back before we wrap this up. For your point of view as a person of social justice, also an artist, plus a person involved with the entertainment industry, what is it you want to take away as we close off to your audience? What do you want them to know about your code of conduct? The code of conduct that was in you, because we discussed this off camera, that is been in you for many decades from your upbringing. What is it you want them to know as they see your posts online and what you're sharing, that the wellspring from which you draw your strength and your passion and your point of view, sir? Let them know about this, where you're coming from.
Let me tell you something about my life is. When I was growing up, I had a hard mother. Her parents, they were hard on me too. But they taught me how to be respectful to people at all times. And they used to always say to me, when you walk down the street, you represent me. So that lets me know it's code of conduct. You have to have code of conduct when you're in the streets. Because just because your parents not out there or your family, remember, they used to walk the same streets that you're walking on. So you gotta represent. So when I came to Los Angeles, I had one big advantage. That teaching got me where I am today because my code of conduct has always got me where I need to be in this business. And matter of fact, in this life. You know what I'm saying? People need to understand one thing. When you sign a contract in this industry, code of conduct clause is sitting in that contract. So for all the people out there that think that these artists can open their mouth, blast the companies, and say what they want, they don't understand. Code of conduct is there, which gives the company to right to refuse to fuck with you, period.
Like a morals code or just code of conduct?
It's just like, okay, secret society. You're not going to go out there and talk when they tell you not, right?
Right.
So why would you, it's like a company, if you sign a contract and they're saying, whatever we discuss at this table, keep it at this table.
Yes.
Why would you go out to the internet, oh man, they're paying me $1 million.
Right.
Once you tell that, now they're like this, I ain't doing nothing for them, drag it out. They may not do nothing for you, and then all of a sudden you run to the internet, which makes it more worse.
Yes.
Because now you done violated the first time, now you're doing it again. You know, the bottom line is people keep their mouth shut.
Yes.
Period. In business. This is, all business is not the same.
Right.
First of all business is not the same. Because it's just like what we're going through now with the government. You know what I call this mess, that this coronavirus, the government, you know what I call it? Corporate masturbation. Because that's what it is. Corporate masturbation meaning they're fucking you over on a corporate format and none of y'all don't know nothing about it because it's senseless.
Right.
Because you're not corporate.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And you know what? I'm going to close off with this question here that we discussed. The youngsters that are out here that want to be, quote unquote, a rapper in this industry, when we look at 40 years ago, the music industry, tell the people your point of view as to what was happening then with young artists, musicians, to what is happening now. What do these youngsters need to know that is obvious but is not said to them as they have these ideas in music?
It's like this. Hip-hop should be ashamed of themselves to sit up here and tell artists that you have to write your stuff. That is the biggest bullshit I ever heard. Because a lot of rappers cannot write nothing. You know, I see a lot of rappers going to these studios all year long, don't do no shows, don't do no appearances, but you want us to take for the situation. 40 years ago, rap was not even existed. It existed in the street. It was a party thing. Nobody gave a damn about writing lyrics. It was just like when the DJ came out and stuck his microphone into the poles in the street, and it was the biggest block party. You know what I'm saying? A special shout out to Grandmaster Theodore, who's the first guy who started that situation. When that went down, hip hop was free. You could say what you want, but there wasn't a message yet. It was a party thing, and it was a free fall. Once rap went to the mainstream, a lot of those rappers, they could talk about anything. They could talk about their drug life, they can talk about their situation, but they had a code of conduct with their recordings, because guess what? They knew one thing. Oh, my mama, my grandmother, my aunts, my uncle, they're going to buy these records. So rappers understood then they were the superheroes of the generation, because they knew. My mama don't need to hear about them fucking around. My mama don't need to hear about this. We're going to do it, you know, hip-hop and hippity-hop and all that. That was the beginning phases. But as time went on, we started seeing rappers take records, and that's another thing black folks don't understand. Rappers stole records too. And when you steal a record, you take the sample and you put it out there and give disrespect to the original people. So yeah, they're gonna screw you over because you're not sitting there understanding that it's business. And then you got these rappers today. If they're mumbling, that means they're not talented. That means they can't even write. They can't even write shit. You know what I'm saying? Here's my question: what makes Quincy Jones? What makes Roxanne Seaman? What makes Wayne and Wanda Vaughn? What makes Diane Warren? What makes Carole King? What makes those people? Those people are what? Big-time songwriters, legendary in the game. Those are the type of people that can sit there and write a song, write it down to the T, or better yet, like Diane Warren. I'll say this because she's one of my good friends. I remember reading when she said how she wrote for Aaliyah. She looked at her. She was like, you know,
which song was that?
Aaliyah.
Yeah.
Aaliyah only did one slow jam in her career that was released.
Right.
It was her track.
Right.
And they asked her, how did you know? And she said when she looked at her, she was like, it's a tough image, but you gotta soften it, you know, smooth it out. So when she wrote it for what she saw.
What song was that?
Given to Me, something like that.
Okay.
You know,
wasn't the album was the 411? Sorry, album Age Nothing But a Number is another album or one after?
I think it's the second album after that one.
All right.
So my question to all these so-called songwriters is, you know, I'm just gonna say it from the heart because you know I grew up with the songwriters and number one, I come from a family of songwriters. As far as I'm concerned, songwriters they are pure garbage because they can't even write about shit. It's frustrating that throughout the Obama administration, we didn't have no protest song. We didn't have nothing to talk about to these kids. We didn't have nothing to explain about this. You know what the sad part is? Recently, we watched Public Enemy fall apart right in front of our face.
Sadly, yes.
But you know what the funny part is? This is not the first time. This is the second time in hip-hop history Public Enemy has had a problem with their members. And the only thing Flavor Flav did, if you're going to fire somebody for their actions. The only thing Flavor Flav did was he did a cease and desist, something that we do in our business. These old jiggable ass niggas out here talking about what he did wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. He put a cease and desist as business because he did not approve of endorsing Bernie Sanders. There was nothing wrong with it.
Right.
But Chuck D took it upon himself to fire him publicly to make this big spectacle. Because me personally, Public Enemy is not the Public Enemy from 86. They're not the Public Enemy from 91. And really, they're not the Public Enemy from 99. So everybody need to understand. Stop acting like this is what it is. Because me personally, I don't remember none of you cats when I was 12 years old watching Public Enemy come out with what? You're going to get yours.
Right.
Or Public Enemy #1. I don't remember none of them. So don't disrespect hip-hop by telling people, you got to write your own shit. Because I write songs too, but I look at people and just go from there. But when I hear these rappers, I'm like this, if you rappers are so fucking talented, can we get more hit records? Can we get some? Can we get another? Let's Get It On.
Yes.
No, let me take that back. Can we get another? What's going on?
Right. What's happening, though, brother?
Or what's happening, brother? Can we get those type of songs?
Yes.
We can't do it because we're not talented, and that's just the way it is.
And with regard to Tupac saying, "Mama," the mama something.
Man, look, let me tell you something. Every rapper out there disrespect Tupac Shakur, but guess what? You You know why Tupac Shakur was a megastar? Because he wrote about everything. Like they said, Pac could sit down and write about everything that was in that room. From the chair being screwed up to a woman, I have to say what it is, but a woman giving a blowjob to a dude. He wrote everything that was in that room.
Right.
So my question to these rappers, when I look at them, they don't impress me. None of them. They don't impress me. Because I'm used to rappers, when they come in the room, you know, a rapper can be like, yo, I like this cup right here, and a 16 real quick, or a 16 about, you know, what's behind my head. They can't do it. None of them.
Wow.
You know, when I had a show called The Plug Radio LA, and I had a segment called MC Trios, and that used to be the biggest argument about freestyle. My personal opinion, if you cannot freestyle off the top of your head about any subject out there, you are not talented. Period.
Wow.
That's just the way it is.
Well, sir, you obviously a man with a strong point of view, code of conduct, passion, a strong awareness, and we are going to have to continue the discussion where I want to get more in the future into the history of the music industry, from your knowledge, your family, coming over to the film industry and the evolution of black culture into American culture, because there's an overlap. But I want to give you the last word, and again, congratulations, happy birthday, congratulations on your exhibition. You're being covered in Los Angeles Times, and also I understand you were invited by different institutions to give some lectures pursuant to that exhibition being featured. What places were you giving lectures at recently, invited to speak?
I want to say 2 weeks. I don't want to say a week ago or so, something like this. No, it's about 2 weeks, but I was giving a lecture at New York Film Academy for their photojournalist class. I just went in and just free for all it, because number one, I'm just gonna say it from the heart of what it is. And I mean, personally, I know some people say, you know, people gonna attack you for your photos, and that's fine. But I'm still gonna say what I want to, because it's my work, and I feel like if you're not out there with me, I don't want to hear I don't want to hear your comment, because you're not out there with me every night. You're not out there when I have to deal with people who got knives, or people step to you because they don't want the camera in their face. So the best thing you can do for me, let me be the guerrilla. I call it for what it is. Let me be the guerrilla style photographer, and you just be the average everyday Joe.
Right. What message do you want to give to young would-be musicians coming to LA, Hollywood, from across the country? What do you want them to know that you feel they should consider, sir?
Number one, if you're young, I always get this, how do you get in the music industry? That is the lamest question I've heard for years. First of all, be fully prepared for the BS. Number two, know what you're walking into. Everybody's not your damn friend. And everybody, just because everybody can sit there, that's another thing. Let me tell you something that everybody don't understand. In Los Angeles, people do not like name dropping. Name dropping is really a no-no. And I see a lot of young people come in here and hang with some of these clowns who will sit there and say, oh, I was hanging with Jay-Z. I was hanging with Beyonce. I was hanging with this. But here's the thing. They can't produce those people to your face to make you understand this is real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then the disrespect is, I'm sitting right there a lot of times, and folks don't realize, dude, I know some of these people. I can pick the phone up. I can click them. I can send text to their assistants and be like, yo, there's this person. I don't think they know you, but what's up? That's what people need to understand. When somebody like me is in this industry, I'm undercover, really, because number one, you're not going to disrespect the industry by saying, well, Dr. Dre, or better yet, Dr. Dre did. If you say Dr. Dre, then I think you need to look at my background. I think you look at my background and know what the link is to that, because I am going to find out who you are. So the best thing young entertainers need to understand, if you're going to come to LA and get in this industry, you got to be ready to work your ass off. You got to be ready to put some time in, and you got to be ready to take the mentoring that comes to you and trust the people who can get you there rightfully, respectfully, and collectively.
Yes.
Bottom line.
Well, listen, sir, you have a lot to say. It's been a joy, education. I'm looking forward to do more of this in the near future. We're hoping that the coronavirus becomes less of a fearful, hysterical phenomenon as is recited in China that resides here as well. Be safe, and we thank you for your generosity of spirit and your honesty. God bless you, and thank you for your time to share from your heart what you know. Um, Goodbye, have a happy birthday, and let's have the last word.
Last word. God bless everybody out there. Stay safe and wash your hands and keep your hygiene and everything up to par. That's number one.
Okay, over and out.
Right.